So we're going to do a bit of a preview of the NFL, and we're going to go 2 divisions per show.
Okay.
And we're starting with the best of the best, the 2 most important divisions in all of football as far as anybody should be concerned. The AFC East and the AFC North. So what we're going to do, we're going to run through them team by team. We'll talk about, it's hard to predict anything right now, but, there could be injuries, but we'll talk about what we think's coming for these teams. Let's start AFC North.
Okay.
And probably this is my New England Patriots, really. The
Wow.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow.
They kill me. They've been killing me the entire time I've been a fan of football. So, Ray, right now, here's a big question for you. When healthy, when you look at their lineup, and this is a big contrast to the traditional Steelers, are they the most potent offense in the NFL, do you think?
Well, you just said the key words, when healthy. And I don't know if we can actually use those words when we're talking about this team. I mean, Bell, he's dominant. This guy is dominant. Yeah. But he really struggles staying healthy. Last year he played 12 games. Antonio Brown, he's about the only guy that you can almost bank on for being there year after year. Yeah. Big Ben, I love Big Ben. Years ago, I would have said, I'd take Big Ben over any quarterback in the NFL, especially come playoffs time.
Yeah.
But injuries have gotta. Even last year, he missed a few games.
Yep.
The big guy I find really interesting is Martavius Bryant is back this year.
Yeah.
Now he spent 2016 suspended.
Mm-hmm.
And he missed 4 games the previous year.
The previous year, yep.
This guy here is back. He's got wicked talent. But history tells me there's no way this guy is going to be able to rebound and, have a clean year, if you will.
Okay, all right.
So it's really hard to answer. I guess if we say that all these guys are going to stay healthy, there's no question I think Pittsburgh will be dominant.
Yep.
But we'll have to see how the year goes. I just can't see it happening.
All right. Well, speaking of the health thing, I'm not letting you off on this one again. So this is strictly when healthy. Strictly when healthy, if you look at what this guy has done in his entire career to this point, and you look at the rest of the field in the NFL, should Big Ben be considered second best in the league to Tom Brady?
That's a great question. And when you sent me this earlier today, I really had to think about it. Are we talking out of the current NFL quarterbacks?
Yeah, like I'm talking right now today. If you had to start a team for this season only, and you had to pick your quarterback, is Big Ben a healthy? I'm throwing it out there. A healthy Big Ben, that your second guy up? Or are you looking towards the more popular picks like Rodgers?
Well, here's the thing with Big Ben and the way he plays football. Big Ben's not 25 years old anymore.
No.
He's aged,
yeah,
and he plays a very physical game.
Absolutely.
And that's not changing.
No.
He's going to take pounding after pounding after pounding every game because he puts himself in that position trying to extend plays.
Yep.
So, based on that, I need a quarterback that's going to get through 16 games.
Right.
And then into the playoffs and be successful.
Okay.
I cannot take him ahead of Aaron Rodgers.
Fair.
Because Rodgers stays clean. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't take the pounding that Big Ben does. And I think Rodgers and even Matty Ice Ryan are going to be more healthy come playoff time than Big Ben.
Okay, let's move on from Pittsburgh. I'd say Big Ben to me is worth the risk over Matt Ryan for sure. Rodgers is a tough call for me.
It's really tough.
Let's move on to Baltimore. So Baltimore really focused on defense this year. I guess they're thinking, you know what, there's no way for us to really compete offensively with the likes of Pittsburgh and New England and so on. So let's really beef up the defense. To pair up with Weddle, they landed probably the best free agent safety out there, Tony Jefferson. They have a really rock-solid defense up front. A few question marks at corner, but they got a good defense. Do you think that defense, it was 7th in the league a year ago, do you think if they're top 5 this year, which they're projected to be, do you think that could carry Baltimore to the playoffs? Because I forgot to mention this, and you guys probably hate hearing this, but the AFC North typically is the favorite division in the league to send 3 teams to the playoffs.
Oh, there's no question.
Yeah. And Baltimore, you think their defense can carry them there?
I think Baltimore is going to have an awesome defense this year. You're right in the fact they were 7th defense overall last year. Here's another great stat for you. Out of the top 10 defenses last year, they had the least penalized defense. So they're very disciplined.
Yeah.
They
pay the refs.
They pay the refs.
Yeah.
They've always had a top defense.
Yeah.
I mean, they've always had a top defense. Defense is not the issue for the Baltimore Ravens.
Definitely not.
It is the offense.
Yeah.
It's 100% the offense. Now, we talked about Joe Flacco. I love Joe Flacco. He is cool, calm. Last year, last year wasn't a strong year for him, but he still had a 64.9 completion percentage, threw for 20 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. When you looked at his receivers, he had Wallace, 1,000-yard receiver for 4 touchdowns. Steve Smith Jr., who's gone, or senior, he's gone this year, but he had 800 yards receiving with 5 touchdowns. They don't have much production from their tight end, but where I think Baltimore's really hurting is the fact that their running back, Terrence West, he did have 5 touchdowns last year, a couple fumbles. He only ran for 774 yards.
Yeah.
They've got Macklin in this year, so that might give Flacco another 1,000-yard receiver. It's hard to say. We'll see where that goes. But I think the biggest problem the Ravens have had is they've never fixed the Ray Rice situation.
Yeah.
They've never brought in a back since him.
Yeah, and Terrence West is just a guy who was ousted from Cleveland, of all places, ended up getting picked up in Tennessee, and then, the Ravens just picked him up and put a running game together with him, and I agree with you. The only other thing I wanted to ask, because this is a hot topic from time to time, I've had to watch Joe Flacco his whole career. Would you consider him an elite quarterback or just a decent quarterback who happened to win a Super Bowl with a great defense?
No, I elite is a tough for me to say elite. But when you look at the offenses that he's played on, he's a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah.
Elite to me is top 3. But he is a top, easily, I think, top 5 quarterback.
All right.
Just to give you one more stat on the Ray Rice that I thought was interesting is I went back and did a 5-year average.
Yeah.
In 5 years, he averaged 1,200 yards per year and 7.4 touchdowns per year.
Yeah.
So that right there, again, it just dominates what Terrence West did for him last year.
Yeah.
So, again, I think that's really what Baltimore's issue is Ray Rice.
All right, Cincinnati Bengals.
Bengals.
The interstate rival of my Browns. Their offensive line, which didn't play great last year at all, just got decimated in the offseason. They lost Kevin Zeitler, who's considered probably one of the best guards in the NFL, to the Browns within the division. That has to hurt. Yeah. And then their left tackle, Whitworth, leaves for the Rams, also considered probably one of the better left tackles in the league. They've had to shuffle some guys around. Andy Dalton got sacked 41 times last year with his last offensive line. I'm looking at the Pro Football Focus offensive line rankings coming into the year. Zeitler goes to the Browns amongst a few other moves. They're the number 2 offensive line in the entire league. The Rams improved from almost dead last to middle of the pack, and Cincinnati is ranked 30th.
Wow.
So listen, we know that once the Bengals make the playoffs, they cannot possibly win a game. But do you even see them getting a chance this year?
To make the playoffs?
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Andy Dalton fan.
Okay.
The only year I've ever been impressed with Andy Dalton was 2015, the year where he threw 25 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. I've just never been a huge fan.
Yeah.
In big games, he usually buckles. The AFC North, you're right, usually sends the most teams, but it's not an overly strong division either. So it's not like he's facing the Patriots twice a year.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a competitive division, the AFC North.
Yeah.
And that's my personal opinion. This year here, they've got 2 rookies that are going to be on that offense most likely. John Ross, which brings a ton of speed. AJ Green only played 10 games last year. That's his big connection. So the fact that Ross is there might give Green some one-on-one coverages rather than being double-teamed all the time. They still have Brandon LaFell. So there's 3 solid receivers.
Yeah.
If you have 3 solid receivers, that's going to help your that's going to help your offensive line protection.
Yep.
Because they're not going to be able to blitz too often if you're playing 3 wide.
All right. As a Cleveland Browns fan, I'm going to tell you that I'd much rather play the Patriots twice a year than play 6 games against the 3 teams we just talked about.
Yeah.
Just going to throw that out there.
Okay.
And this is going to be a bit of a theme here, and let's not spend much time on this, but I was just going to toss it out there because the guy's been an MVP candidate a few times. Andy Dalton's a pretty solid quarterback. Would you trade Tyrod Taylor for him right now? I think it's clearly the answer is no. Yeah?
No.
All right. Let's move on to the Browns, my beloved Browns.
Okay.
Oh boy! All right, so soon to be first ballot Hall of Famer Joe Thomas, arguably one of the best left tackle of all time, has made the Pro Bowl every single season he's been in the league and has never missed a snap. Swears that he does not want to be traded. He wants to remain with the Browns. Every year there's trade talks. He doesn't get traded, and he's thankful. Do you believe him?
Listen, you just said 10-year vet. Great player. This guy wants stability. After 10 years of being a top player for the Cleveland Browns, give this guy the tools to finally have stability in that organization. And again, going into this season, they got Cody Kessler and Brock Osweiler as their quarterback. Nobody knows.
Yep.
You look in the last 5 years, RG3, McCown, Kessler, Manziel, Davis, Hoyer, Campbell, Whedon, McCoy. I mean, this poor guy who's been so dominant.
Brady Quinn, Derek Anderson. I can name them all. Seneca Wallace.
But this poor guy who, is done his job, right? And the Patriots saying, do your job. This guy's done his job. But the organization can't give this guy stability.
Yeah.
And so if I'm a 10-year vet, God damn, I want to go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I want a chance to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. And if you could be traded to a team that would give you that chance, would you not take it at this point in your career? Because he doesn't want it. He wants to do it with Cleveland. In fact, he sets his bar a little low. He says, my goal, like my dream, is to start a playoff game in Cleveland and run out of the tunnel. So, anyway, do you think, you mentioned Brock. Do you think Brock starts a game for Cleveland this year?
I really don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what Cody Kessler's going to give you guys.
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw Brock absolutely suck for the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
But I saw him play some exciting games as a Denver Bronco.
Yeah. We'll see.
I just don't know.
Yeah.
But again, it comes back to stability. They need stability in Cleveland.
Yeah. Well, at least the coaching staff's getting a second year, and again, I've got about 10 hours of opinions on the Cleveland Browns. We're going to move on real quick.
Okay.
So we're finished with the AFC North. Ray, if you had to choose today, who wins the AFC North?
I've got Pittsburgh winning the AFC North right now with Baltimore, Cincy, and Cleveland in fourth place.
Yeah.
You're going to ask me how many wins are the Browns going to get?
Yeah.
I went through the schedule.
Yeah.
I think Cleveland could possibly win 6. Now I may be giving Cleveland a huge. I mean, I initially had 3 wins. I initially had 3 wins. Then I went through and I said, every team gets a couple lucky wins here and there.
Yeah, except the Browns.
Except for the Browns.
Yeah.
Well, I said maybe they could get to 6, but realistically, I have 3 wins for them.
Okay, let me follow that up real quick. If you switch places with me and you're the Browns fan, right?
Yeah.
Coming off a 1-15 season that almost killed your head coach. Like Hugh Jackson was pretty much ready to throw it in, right?
Yeah.
Is 3 wins, which is a tremendous improvement over 1.
Yeah.
Does that keep him safe?
Again, this organization needs stability. You can't go through another coach and give this guy the time that you brought him in for.
Yep.